battle in our minds. This is a fight that none of us can afford to lose, because how we think shapes the reality we live in. The mind is not just an organ of thought. It is the realm where our dreams are either made or shattered. It is where victories are either won or lost before they even reach the battlefield of life. Every great achievement begins in the mind, before any successful venture is realized, before any goal is met, before any challenge is overcome. It first exists in the mind of the person who dares to believe. This is not merely about wishful thinking. It's about the power of focused thought, unwavering belief, and disciplined action. You see, the mind is a powerful instrument, one that can either lift us to new heights or drag us into despair. The thoughts we entertain determine the direction our lives will take. It is a truth that has echoed throughout history. As a man thinks, so is he. What you allow to occupy your thoughts will dictate the course of your life. But here's the catch. We are not born with mastery over our thoughts. In fact, most of us are conditioned by the world around us to think in terms of limitations, fear, and doubt. We are taught to focus on the obstacles instead of the opportunities. We are encouraged to measure ourselves by external standards rather than by the infinite potential within us. But I'm here to tell you, this battle can be won. The first step in winning the battle in your mind is to recognize the power of belief. Your belief is the foundation of your success. Before you can conquer any external challenges, you must first conquer the belief that you can. Belief is the fuel that propels you forward when everything around you says no. It is the spark that ignites the fire of possibility within you. But belief alone is not enough. You must guard your mind from negative thinking. Negativity is the enemy of progress. Doubt, fear, and pessimism create mental roadblocks that prevent you from moving forward. These negative thoughts are like weeds in a garden. If left unchecked, they will choke out the seeds of greatness you are trying to plant. Every day you must choose to uproot those weeds and replace them with thoughts that affirm your potential. Focus is another key to victory. Life is full of distractions, but the winner in the battle of the mind is the one who can maintain focus on what truly matters. It's easy to get caught up in the noise of life, the worries, the problems, the distractions. But the person who wins the battle in their mind is the one who keeps their eyes fixed on the prize and refuses to be sidetracked by the temporary struggles. And here's an essential truth. You must train your mind like an athlete trains their body. Mental discipline is not a one-time event. It's a daily commitment. Just as physical strength is built through consistent effort, so is mental strength. You must be intentional about what you feed your mind. Your thoughts are like food. What you consume will either nourish or poison your spirit. This means that affirmations, positive self-talk, and disciplined thinking are not optional. They are necessities. What you say to yourself has the power to shape your self-image and your future. Speak words of life, not death. Speak words of hope, not despair. Speak words of possibility, not limitation. Emotions too must be managed. Life will challenge you. People will disappoint you. Situations will not always go your way, but in those moments, your ability to control your emotions will be your greatest strength. It's not about suppressing your feelings. It's about acknowledging them and choosing how to respond. Emotional control is one of the greatest weapons in the battle for your mind. Understand that the battle is ongoing. Every day you face new challenges, new thoughts, new emotions, and new opportunities to either win or lose the battle in your mind. It is not a one-time fight, but a continuous journey. With each victory, you grow stronger. With each setback, you gain wisdom. The key is not to give up, but to keep pressing forward, because the battle in your mind is always winnable. Remember, the battlefield is not external, it's internal. The person who can conquer their mind can conquer the world. So, stand firm, take control, and declare today that you will win the battle in your mind. Your victory is waiting. The mind is an incredibly powerful force, far more influential than we often realize. It is the foundation of every thought, action, and decision we make. The mind has the ability to shape our experiences, guide our responses to challenges, and ultimately create the reality we live in. It determines how we perceive the world around us, how we view ourselves, and how we react to circumstances, both good and bad. What many fail to realize is that the mind is not just a passive receiver of information, it is an active creator. Every moment your mind is at work, processing, interpreting, and influencing your experience. The thoughts you have shape your emotions, which then influence your actions. It is a cycle that repeats itself constantly, and it is this cycle that shapes the course of your life. If you want to change your life, you must first change the way you think. The mind is so powerful that it can turn dreams into reality. It has the ability to envision a future that has not yet arrived, to imagine a success that has not yet been achieved, and to create opportunities out of what seems like nothing. This ability to visualize is a tool we often underestimate. When you can see yourself succeeding, when you can picture your goals as already accomplished, your mind works in ways that bring that vision closer to reality. The mind is also a double-edged sword. While it can elevate you to great heights, it can also pull you down into negativity, fear, and self-doubt. It can convince you that you are not good enough, not worthy enough, or not capable enough. But this is not a truth. It is merely a belief that you have accepted. And just as easily as you accepted that belief, you can choose to replace it with one that empowers you. The mind is malleable, and what you feed it will determine the direction it takes. If you fill it with negativity, you will experience a life filled with negativity. But if you fill it with positive thoughts, self-belief, and a vision of possibility, you will create a life that reflects those thoughts. The power of the mind lies in its ability to create a mental environment that determines your emotional state, which then dictates your actions. When you focus on empowering thoughts, you will find yourself making decisions that align with your desires and dreams. This in turn sets a chain reaction into motion, bringing you closer to your goals and allowing you to step into the life you have imagined. It is essential then to take control of your mind, to recognize that the thoughts you allow to dominate it are the ones that will shape your experiences. While external circumstances are often beyond our control, how we respond to those circumstances is entirely within our power. The mind is not just a tool for survival. It is the key to thriving. It holds the potential for greatness, and it is up to each of us to unlock that potential by choosing what we allow to occupy our minds. Mental strength is one of the most valuable assets a person can possess. It is not simply the ability to endure hardship or face adversity. It is the inner resilience that allows us to rise above challenges, navigate difficult situations, and keep moving forward even when the path ahead seems uncertain. It is the unshakable belief in yourself and your capacity to overcome, no matter the obstacles that stand before you. In a world that constantly tests our limits, mental strength acts as a weapon that can cut through doubt, fear, and uncertainty. When you possess mental strength, you are not easily swayed by the trials and tribulations that life throws your way. Rather than allowing setbacks to define you, you use them as stepping stones to build a stronger, more determined version of yourself. Mental strength gives you the ability to maintain your focus, even when things go wrong, and to stay on course despite external distractions. This strength doesn't come from avoiding discomfort or running from challenges. It is forged in the midst of them. It is developed when you face your fears head on, when you push through pain and discomfort, and when you refuse to give up, even when the world around you suggests you should. It is the courage to continue when everyone else is turning back, the perseverance to keep fighting when the odds seem insurmountable. Mental strength is about controlling your mind so that no external force can control you. It's not about being invincible, but about having the inner fortitude to keep going, even when you feel vulnerable. The beauty of mental strength is that it is a weapon available to all of us, regardless of our circumstances or background. Unlike physical strength, which may vary from person to person, mental strength is a skill that anyone can cultivate. It doesn't require special talents or innate abilities. It requires practice, discipline, and a mindset that refuses to back down. And when you make the decision to develop mental strength, you empower yourself to handle whatever comes your way, whether it's a personal setback, a professional challenge, or an unexpected crisis. One of the key aspects of mental strength is emotional control. Life is full of moments that can stir up intense emotions: anger, frustration, sadness, or even fear. It's easy to let these emotions dictate your actions and cloud your judgment. But someone with mental strength understands that emotions are temporary. They do not define you, and they do not control your actions. The true measure of strength is how you respond to these emotions. You can acknowledge them, process them, and then choose to act in a way that aligns with your values and goals, rather than being swayed by momentary feelings. Having mental strength means not allowing circumstances to dictate your happiness or success. It means taking ownership of your responses and reactions, regardless of how difficult the situation may be. It's about being solution-oriented rather than problem-focused, seeing challenges as opportunities to grow rather than obstacles to your progress. It means having the clarity and discipline to stay true to your values, even in times of stress, uncertainty, or conflict. When you possess this strength, you are no longer a passive participant in life. You become the active creator of your destiny. The more you practice mental toughness, the more it becomes a natural part of who you are. It becomes a muscle that grows stronger with use. It's the inner resolve to keep moving forward, to rise each time you fall, and to meet adversity with the unwavering conviction that you will come out on top. Mental strength allows you to adapt, to learn from your mistakes, and to keep striving for your goals, even when the world seems determined to hold you back. Mental strength is what will distinguish the achievers from those who give up along the way. It's the difference between seeing failure as the end of the road and seeing it as a temporary setback, a lesson to be learned. When you develop mental strength, you unlock the power to control your mind, and in doing so, you unlock the ability to shape your life according to your vision, no matter the challenges you face. The connection between our thoughts and the reality we experience is undeniable. Every day we are bombarded with millions of thoughts, and each one has the potential to shape the way we perceive and interact with the world. Our thoughts act as a lens through which we see everything, from our personal experiences to our relationships, careers, and even the way we view ourselves. What we think about consistently and the beliefs we hold create the framework for the life we live. In essence, our inner world forms the foundation of our outer world. At the core of this relationship is the concept that what we think often becomes what we believe, and what we believe then influences our actions. Our beliefs are powerful forces that dictate how we respond to opportunities, challenges, and setbacks. If we believe we are capable and worthy, we are more likely to take bold steps, seize opportunities, and pursue our dreams. On the other hand, if we believe we are limited, incapable, or undeserving, we may hesitate, doubt ourselves, and miss out on opportunities that could lead to growth and success. Our thoughts become the self-fulfilling prophecies that drive our actions, both consciously and unconsciously. This means that our reality is often a reflection of the thoughts we entertain. For instance, someone who constantly thinks about their failures, focusing on what went wrong or what they don't have, may find it difficult to see the potential for success or the opportunities in front of them. Their mind dwells in the past or in a scarcity mindset, creating a reality that feels limiting and discouraging. Conversely, someone who consistently nurtures positive thoughts of abundance, growth, possibility, and resilience, creates a reality filled with hope, optimism, and the drive to keep moving forward. The difference isn't necessarily the external circumstances, but how each individual perceives and reacts to them based on their thoughts. The power of thoughts shaping reality also extends to our emotional and physical experiences. The mind-body connection is deeply intertwined with the way we think. Thoughts have the ability to influence our emotions, which in turn affect our physical well-being. Positive thinking can lead to feelings of joy, contentment, and peace, which have been shown to improve overall health, reduce stress, and enhance energy levels. Negative thoughts, however, can have the opposite effect, leading to stress, anxiety, and even physical ailments. When we are consumed with negative thought patterns, our bodies often respond with tension, fatigue, or illness. Thoughts don't just shape our personal reality. They have a profound impact on how we interact with others and the opportunities we attract. We attract people, situations, and experiences that resonate with the energy we put out into the world. If we constantly think in terms of limitation or scarcity, we may attract similar circumstances, reinforcing the cycle of lack. But when we think in terms of abundance, opportunity, and possibility, we open ourselves to the flow of positive experiences, relationships, and achievements. The way we view challenges is also a direct result of our thought patterns. A person who sees obstacles as insurmountable problems will likely give up in the face of adversity. However, someone who views challenges as opportunities for growth and learning will approach them with resilience and determination. The difference is not in the challenges themselves, but in the mindset that shapes how they are perceived. A growth-oriented mindset allows us to see setbacks as temporary and as part of the journey towards success, while a fixed mindset may cause us to believe that failure is a permanent state and therefore give up. Our thoughts are like seeds planted in the soil of our mind. What we nurture and focus on will grow, whether positive or negative. The key is to recognize that we have the power to choose the seeds we plant. By consciously shifting our thoughts and redirecting them toward positive, empowering ideas, we can begin to cultivate a new reality. This doesn't mean ignoring the difficulties we face or pretending that everything is perfect, but it does mean focusing on solutions, possibilities, and the potential for growth. As we train our minds to focus on what we want rather than what we fear or lack, we begin to change the very fabric of our reality. It's not about denying challenges, but about understanding that the thoughts we carry shape how we experience and respond to those challenges. By consistently feeding our minds with thoughts that support our goals, dreams, and well-being, we create a self-fulfilling cycle of positive growth. Our external world eventually begins to mirror the mindset we hold within, because the way we think influences everything, from the choices we make to the energy we project into the world. Therefore, if you want to transform your reality, you must first transform the thoughts that govern it. Your mind is the lens through which you view your life. And by changing the way you think, you can fundamentally change the way you experience the world around you. It is not magic or coincidence. It is the power of the mind working in alignment with your desires, intentions, and beliefs. Your thoughts are the blueprint for the life you create. And when you master them, you master your reality. Victory in any endeavor begins long before the finish line is crossed or the success is achieved. It starts in the mind, in the quiet moments of belief, where a person dares to imagine victory even when the odds seem impossible. Belief is the foundation of every achievement, the driving force that propels us forward, even in the face of doubt or uncertainty. It is the belief in your potential, your worth, and your ability to overcome challenges that turns ordinary goals into extraordinary accomplishments. Without belief, there can be no victory. It is belief that fuels the courage to take risks, the persistence to keep going when obstacles arise, and the confidence to push through difficult times. It acts as the inner compass that guides you toward your destination, providing clarity when the path is unclear. When you truly believe in yourself and your abilities, the challenges that may seem insurmountable become opportunities to prove your strength and resilience. Belief is the spark that ignites the fire of determination. Without it, you may find yourself second-guessing your every move, hesitating at the starting line, or giving up before you even give yourself the chance to try. When you believe in your capabilities, even the most daunting tasks become manageable. Your belief builds momentum, helping you to take one step after another until those steps accumulate into progress and eventually success. It is this belief that keeps you moving forward, even when the journey is difficult, and even when external circumstances suggest you should turn back. Victory starts with belief not only in your abilities, but also in the possibility of success itself. Many people fail before they even begin because they do not believe it is possible to achieve what they desire. They are held back by their own doubts and fears, convinced that they are destined to fail or that the goal they seek is beyond their reach. But victory begins when you decide that success is not a distant dream, but a very real and achievable outcome. When you believe that victory is possible, your actions change. You approach challenges with optimism, determination, and a mindset that is focused on solutions rather than problems. Belief also gives you the strength to overcome failures. Failure is an inevitable part of any journey, and without belief, failure can feel like a permanent setback. However, when you believe in yourself and your potential, failure becomes a lesson rather than a defeat. It becomes a stepping stone, a necessary part of growth and progress. Your belief allows you to bounce back from failures, to learn from them, and to keep going with renewed vigor. It's not that you won't face setbacks, but that you will have the strength and resilience to rise again every time you fall. Belief gives you the power to silence the voices of doubt that come from within and from the outside world. The world will often question your dreams, your abilities, and your potential. People may tell you that what you're aiming for is impossible or unrealistic. But when you believe, you tune out those voices and focus on your own vision. Belief in yourself is the shield that protects you from negativity, the armor that keeps you moving forward, regardless of the criticism or doubt that may come your way. This belief doesn't have to be loud or boastful. It doesn't require grand declarations or outward displays of confidence. Sometimes belief is quiet, a calm knowing deep within that you are capable and that your vision is worth pursuing. It is a steady confidence, one that holds strong in the face of challenges, and one that refuses to be shaken by temporary setbacks. When you believe in yourself, you're not looking for external validation or reassurance. Your belief comes from within, and it is unshakable because it is rooted in the understanding that your potential is limitless. The power of belief is transformative. When you truly believe in yourself, you change how you see the world and how the world sees you. You begin to attract the people, opportunities, and circumstances that align with your vision because your belief in success influences the energy you radiate. People are drawn to those who exude confidence and self-assurance, and that energy opens doors, creates opportunities, and fosters collaboration. The path to victory is never straight or simple, and there will be moments when you feel overwhelmed or uncertain. But when belief is at the core of your actions, you will find the strength to continue. You will embrace challenges as part of your journey, knowing that each step, whether forward or backward, is bringing you closer to your goal. Victory doesn't always come instantly, but with belief, you build the resilience needed to see the process through, no matter how long it takes. Belief is not just about thinking you can achieve something. It's about knowing you will. It's about trusting that the journey, with all its twists and turns, is worth the effort. Belief is the foundation, the fuel, and the force that propels you toward victory. And when you cultivate it, nothing is impossible. Victory truly begins with belief, and it is this belief that will carry you to heights you never imagined possible. Negative thinking is one of the most powerful barriers to personal growth and success. It clouds our judgment, limits our potential, and prevents us from seeing the opportunities that exist all around us. It often begins with small, subtle thoughts, an internal voice that criticizes, doubts, and questions our abilities, our worth, and our future. Left unchecked, these thoughts can become habitual patterns that shape our reality and control our action. The struggle to overcome negative thinking is not simply about erasing those thoughts, but about transforming them into constructive and empowering beliefs. Negative thinking can take many forms. It can be a constant inner dialogue of self-doubt, a fear of failure, or a belief that you are not good enough. It can manifest as worrying about things that may never happen, or fixating on past mistakes. Often we hold on to these thoughts as if they define us, allowing them to shape our identities and limit our choices. But the truth is that these thoughts do not define us unless we allow them to. They are merely passing reflections in our mind, and we have the power to choose whether we give them control. One of the first steps in overcoming negative thinking is becoming aware of it. Many of us go through life with negative thoughts running in the background without even realizing the impact they have on our emotions and behaviors. It's like being in a room with a constant noise you've become so accustomed to that you stop noticing it. The key to overcoming negativity is to consciously notice when these thoughts arise. The moment you catch yourself thinking negatively, take a step back and ask yourself whether these thoughts are truly serving you. Are they helping you move toward your goals? Are they empowering you? Or are they holding you back? This awareness is the first line of defense against the destructive power of negative thinking. Once you become aware of your negative thoughts, the next step is to challenge them. Negative thoughts are often rooted in fear or insecurity, but they are rarely based on facts. They are exaggerations of possibilities that haven't even happened yet. When you catch yourself thinking negatively, ask yourself if the thought is true. What evidence do you have to support it? Often you'll find that there is no solid foundation for the negative belief, and it exists purely in your mind as a self-imposed limitation. By questioning the validity of your negative thoughts, you begin to dismantle their power over you. Another crucial step in overcoming negative thinking is replacing it with positive affirmations and empowering beliefs. It's not enough to simply stop thinking negatively. You must actively replace those thoughts with beliefs that support your growth and success. Positive affirmations are a powerful tool in this process. They work by rewiring your brain to focus on what you want to create rather than what you fear. For example, if you find yourself thinking, "I'm not good enough," replace it with, "I am capable and I am worthy of success." Over time, these positive affirmations begin to take root, gradually replacing negative thoughts and reinforcing a healthier, more empowering mindset. It's also important to recognize that negative thinking often comes from a place of fear or past experiences. When we've faced setbacks, failures, or disappointments, we may internalize those experiences and begin to expect the same outcomes in the future. These thoughts can become self-fulfilling prophecies, causing us to shy away from new opportunities or to quit before we even begin. To overcome this, it's essential to reframe our perception of failure. Failure is not the end. It is merely a lesson on the path to success. When you embrace failure as a stepping stone rather than a roadblock, you free yourself from the chains of negative thinking that are tied to past mistakes. Failure is part of the learning process, and each time you face it, you grow stronger and more resilient. Mindfulness is another effective tool in overcoming negative thinking. By practicing mindfulness, you learn to observe your thoughts without judgment, recognizing them as temporary and fleeting. Instead of becoming entangled in negative thought patterns, mindfulness allows you to observe them from a distance and choose how you wish to respond. This detachment from your thoughts gives you greater control over them and prevents you from spiraling into a cycle of negativity. Mindfulness helps you stay grounded in the present moment rather than worrying about the past or future, and it enables you to let go of the mental chatter that often fuels negative thinking. Surrounding yourself with positive influences is another essential strategy in overcoming negativity. The people we interact with, the environments we spend time in, and the content we consume all have a significant impact on our mindset. If you are constantly exposed to negativity, whether through toxic relationships, negative news, or environments that drain your energy, this will undoubtedly affect your thought patterns. Seek out supportive, uplifting people who encourage your growth and inspire you to think positively. Engage in activities that foster a positive mindset, whether it's reading, exercising, or spending time in nature. The more you immerse yourself in positivity, the more it will become ingrained in your own thought process. It's also important to practice self-compassion when dealing with negative thinking. Many of us are our own harshest critics. Berating ourselves for mistakes or perceived shortcomings, this negative self-talk can be incredibly damaging and self-defeating. Instead of criticizing yourself, practice self-compassion by treating yourself with kindness and understanding. Recognize that everyone makes mistakes and that you are not defined by your failures. By learning to forgive yourself and treat yourself with the same compassion you would offer to a friend, you begin to break free from the grip of negative thinking and create a healthier, more loving relationship with yourself. Overcoming negative thinking is not a one-time fix. It's an ongoing process that requires patience, practice, and commitment. Negative thoughts may still arise from time to time, but with awareness, challenge, and positive reinforcement, you can learn to manage them and reduce their impact. As you continue to work on shifting your mindset, you will begin to notice the profound effect it has on your life. Your actions, energy, and decisions will be more aligned with your goals and values, and you will create a reality that reflects the positive, empowering thoughts you choose to nurture. When faced with challenges or adversity, it is easy to focus on the limitations that seem to stand in the way of success. We often get caught in the trap of thinking about what we don't have, what we can do, or what is impossible. However, focusing on possibilities instead of limitations is one of the most powerful shifts we can make in our thinking. It's a mindset that opens the door to growth, creativity, and transformation. Instead of seeing obstacles as insurmountable, it encourages us to see them as opportunities for innovation, learning, and advancement. The reality is that limitations are often self-imposed. We tend to believe that there are certain things we can't achieve because of our circumstances, our past experiences, or the challenges we face. But when we shift our focus from what we lack to what we can create or accomplish, we start to see the abundance of opportunities that are available to us. Rather than dwelling on what's missing, we begin to see solutions and alternatives that were once hidden behind the veil of doubt. Focusing on possibilities allows us to break free from the mental barriers that confine us. It encourages a mindset of creativity where we begin to ask ourselves, what can I do with what I have? Instead of saying, this situation is impossible, we start thinking, what resources or strengths do I have that can help me overcome this? This shift in thinking opens up countless possibilities because it emphasizes what we can control and what we can change. It allows us to reframe challenges as stepping stones instead of roadblocks. The key is to recognize that the most successful people in history didn't get to where they are by focusing on limitations. They saw possibilities where others saw walls. They took what seemed like impossible situations and found ways to innovate, adapt, and move forward. Whether it was an inventor who saw a problem and created a solution, or a leader who faced adversity and found a way to rise above it. Those who achieve greatness are often the ones who refuse to be bogged down by limitation. Instead, they relentlessly focus on what could be possible, regardless of the obstacles in their way. This mindset also helps to build resilience. When you focus on possibilities, you become more adaptable. You start to see every challenge as a chance to grow rather than a reason to quit. If you view every difficulty as a learning experience, each one becomes less intimidating and more of an opportunity for self-improvement. You begin to understand that setbacks are not permanent and that they don't define your abilities or your future. The possibilities that lie ahead become far more important than the temporary limitations you may be facing. When you focus on possibilities, you also shift your perspective on time. Instead of dwelling on what has already happened, you focus on what is yet to come. It encourages you to think beyond the present moment and imagine a future filled with potential. This forward-thinking approach opens you up to new ideas and helps you plan for success. You stop worrying about what went wrong in the past and instead begin to focus on the actions you can take right now to create the future you desire. This approach requires intentionality and a conscious effort to reshape your thinking. It's easy to become trapped in a cycle of negative thinking where we fixate on what we lack or what we fail to accomplish. But by redirecting our focus to possibilities, we empower ourselves to take bold, confident steps toward our goals. We learn to trust in our ability to find solutions, even when the path isn't clear. The act of believing in possibilities fuels our motivation, making it easier to take consistent action toward our aspirations. Focusing on possibilities encourages a growth mindset. It's the belief that your abilities are not fixed, but that you can improve and develop through effort and learning. This mindset is critical to overcoming challenges, as it keeps you from becoming discouraged when things don't go as planned. When you approach life with a focus on possibilities, you open yourself up to continuous growth and development, knowing that no matter where you start, there is always room for improvement. Focusing on possibilities also has a ripple effect on the people around you. When you adopt this mindset, you begin to inspire others to do the same. Your optimism and forward-thinking attitude can be contagious, encouraging others to see opportunities in the face of their own struggles. You become a source of encouragement, helping to lift those around you up when they too feel discouraged. By shifting your focus to possibilities, you not only change your own life, but you also contribute positively to the lives of others. The key to this mindset is understanding that you have the power to shape your own reality. Your thoughts, beliefs, and actions all contribute to the life you create. If you focus on limitations, you will naturally limit yourself. But if you shift your attention to the possibilities, you expand your potential and open yourself up to new experiences, opportunities, and successes. The mindset of focusing on possibilities empowers you to step into the unknown, to take risks, and to embrace the unknown with confidence. The power of focusing on possibilities lies in its ability to transform the way you approach life. Instead of viewing the world through a lens of scarcity and limitation, you start to see it as a place of abundance, opportunity, and growth. Every challenge becomes a chance to innovate, and every failure becomes a lesson to learn from. You stop asking, what's the problem, and start asking, what's the solution? This simple shift in thinking can have a profound impact on the way you live, helping you to not only overcome challenges, but to thrive in the face of them. When you choose to focus on possibilities, you open the door to a world of endless opportunities waiting to be explored. Affirmations have long been recognized as a powerful tool for transforming the mind and shaping one's reality. The simple act of speaking positive statements aloud or silently can have a profound impact on how we perceive ourselves and the world around us. Affirmations are not just words. They are expressions of belief and intention. When used consistently, they become a catalyst for change, reprogramming the mind to focus on possibility, strength, and success, rather than limitation and fear. At their core, affirmations are statements that reinforce positive beliefs. They can be about anything, from self-worth and confidence to health, success, relationships, or personal growth. The key is that these statements reflect the truth of what you want to believe, not necessarily what is currently happening in your life. When you repeat affirmations, you are sending a message to your subconscious mind, telling it that you are capable, deserving, and worthy of all the good things that life has to offer. Over time, these affirmations begin to shift your mindset and influence your actions, helping to create the circumstances and reality you desire. The power of affirmations lies in their ability to rewire the brain. Our minds are constantly absorbing information, and much of this information is shaped by past experiences, social conditioning, and the environment we are in. For many, this means absorbing negative thoughts and limiting beliefs. We may think we are not good enough, that we can't achieve our dreams, or that success is reserved for others. These negative beliefs can limit our potential and keep us stuck in patterns of doubt and fear. But by intentionally using affirmations, we begin to counteract these negative thoughts with positive, empowering beliefs that promote growth and success. The repetition of affirmations creates a shift in neural pathways, reprogramming the brain to believe in the possibility of change. Neuroscientific research has shown that our thoughts have the ability to physically alter the structure of the brain. When we consistently repeat positive affirmations, the brain forms new neural connections that reinforce these beliefs. This process is known as neuroplasticity, the brain's ability to reorganize itself and form new connections based on experience. Just as negative thought patterns can become ingrained through repetition, positive affirmations can create lasting changes in the way we think and perceive the world. This mental shift can lead to increased confidence, a greater sense of self-worth, and the courage to take action toward your goals. Affirmations also have the power to raise your vibration and attract positive experiences into your life. The law of attraction teaches us that we attract what we focus on. And when we consistently focus on positive thoughts and beliefs, we begin to align ourselves with the energy of abundance, love, and success. When we affirm our worthiness and potential, we signal to the universe that we are ready to receive the blessings and opportunities that align with our desires. This energetic shift creates a magnetic force, drawing circumstances, people, and experiences that support our affirmation into our lives. Affirmations, therefore, are not just about changing the way we think. They also influence the energy we project into the world, which in turn shapes the experiences we have. The impact of affirmations extends beyond just changing our thoughts. They also influence our actions. When we repeat affirmations about our abilities and potential, we begin to approach situations with a greater sense of confidence and belief in ourselves. For instance, if you affirm, "I am confident and capable," you are more likely to take action toward your goals with self-assurance. Affirmations can also help us overcome procrastination and self-doubt by reinforcing the belief that we are capable of achieving what we set our minds to. Over time, these affirmations build momentum, leading to increased productivity, improved decision-making, and a greater sense of control over our lives. It's important to note that the true power of affirmations comes from repetition and consistency. Just like any habit, the more you repeat your affirmations, the more ingrained they become in your subconscious mind. This practice is not about wishing for something to happen. It's about reprogramming your mind to believe in the possibilities that already exist. Affirmations work best when they are practiced regularly, ideally multiple times a day. The more frequently you affirm your beliefs, the more these positive thoughts will begin to take hold, and the more you will see evidence of them in your life. This consistent practice creates a strong foundation for personal transformation as your thoughts begin to align with your desires and intentions. Affirmations also have the ability to bring awareness to our inner dialogue. Often our internal thoughts are negative or self-critical, and we may not even realize the harmful impact these thoughts have on our lives. Affirmations help us become conscious of these thoughts and shift them toward more positive, loving self-talk. Instead of believing the harsh inner critic that tells us we are not enough, we begin to believe the supportive voice that affirms our value and worth. This shift in self-talk is transformative because it influences how we show up in the world. When we believe in our own worth, we act with more confidence, grace, and power. The power of affirmations is also amplified when combined with visualization. When you repeat an affirmation, take a moment to visualize yourself already living the reality that the affirmation describes. For example, if your affirmation is, I am a successful entrepreneur, visualize yourself running a thriving business, interacting with clients, and feeling the satisfaction of success. This visualization amplifies the belief in your affirmation, making it feel more real and tangible. The more vividly you can picture yourself achieving your goals, the more likely it is that you will take the necessary actions to make those goals a reality. While affirmations are a powerful tool for creating change, they require action to truly manifest. Affirmations are not a passive exercise. They are a catalyst for transformation that encourages us to take inspired action toward our dreams. The purpose of affirmations is to align our thoughts, emotions, and actions so that we move toward our goals with confidence and clarity. When you affirm your worth and capabilities, you naturally begin to take steps that align with those beliefs. In this way, affirmations work hand in hand with action, creating a harmonious flow of positive energy and progress. The power of affirmations lies in their ability to shape our reality. They are not just a tool for wishful thinking, but a means of transforming our mindset, boosting our confidence, and aligning our energy with the success we desire. By consistently practicing affirmations, we unlock our potential, create a more positive and abundant life, and step into the best version of ourselves. Emotions are a natural and essential part of the human experience, shaping how we respond to situations and influencing our actions and decisions. However, it is all too easy to let emotions control us rather than the other way around. When we are swept away by strong feelings like anger, fear, frustration, or sadness, we may make choices we later regret or find ourselves stuck in negative emotional states. Learning to control emotions is not about suppressing or ignoring them. It's about understanding, managing, and using them in a way that serves our well-being and growth. Controlling emotions begins with self-awareness. The first step in managing your emotions is recognizing them when they arise. Often emotions come and go without us fully understanding why we're feeling a certain way. By becoming aware of your emotional state in real time, you can take a step back and assess the situation before reacting impulsively. This moment of awareness is crucial because it allows you to pause and choose how you respond, rather than reacting automatically based on the intensity of the emotion. Self-awareness gives you the power to observe your emotions. Understanding the root causes of your emotions is also key to emotional control. Emotions don't appear out of nowhere. They are usually responses to underlying thoughts, beliefs, or triggers. For example, anger may arise because of a perceived injustice or frustration with a situation, while anxiety may be tied to fears about the future. By identifying the thought patterns or situations that lead to certain emotions, you gain insight into why you feel the way you do. This awareness enables you to address the underlying causes of your emotions. Rather than simply reacting to the surface level feeling, it also allows you to challenge any distorted or unhelpful beliefs that may be fueling negative emotions, empowering you to shift your perspective. Once you've developed self-awareness and understood the root causes of your emotions, it becomes easier to choose a deliberate response. Instead of being at the mercy of your emotions, you can choose how you want to respond to a given situation. This may involve taking a few deep breaths to calm down before speaking, walking away from a triggering situation to gain perspective, or choosing to reframe a negative thought to shift your emotional state. Learning to pause before reacting gives you the opportunity to respond in ways that are aligned with your values rather than being driven by impulsive emotions. One of the most effective tools in controlling emotions is emotional regulation. Emotional regulation refers to the ability to influence the intensity and duration of your emotional experiences. While you cannot always control when emotions arise, you can control how you manage them once they do. For example, when faced with a stressful situation, rather than allowing stress to overwhelm you, you might practice relaxation techniques such as deep breathing, meditation, or mindfulness. These techniques help activate the parasympathetic nervous system, which calms the body's stress response and brings you back into a state of balance. Over time, these practices become second nature, helping you stay composed and focused, even in the face of challenging emotions. Another critical aspect of emotional control is developing emotional intelligence. Emotional intelligence, EQ, involves the ability to recognize, understand, and manage your own emotions, as well as the ability to recognize and influence the emotions of others. High emotional intelligence enables you to navigate social interactions with empathy, self-control, and understanding. It also allows you to respond to others in ways that are emotionally supportive rather than reactive or defensive. By developing emotional intelligence, you can create more harmonious relationships, reduce conflict, and foster a sense of calm and cooperation, both within yourself and in your interactions with others. It's important to remember that controlling emotions does not mean suppressing them. Suppressing emotions can lead to them building up inside, eventually causing them to explode in unhealthy ways. Rather than pushing emotions aside, emotional control is about acknowledging your feelings without letting them dictate your actions. You can feel your emotions without being controlled by them. For example, it's normal to feel anger, but rather than allowing it to lead to destructive behavior, you can express it in a healthy way, such as through assertive communication or physical exercise. This kind of emotional expression is not only healthy, but also constructive, helping to release the intensity of the emotion without causing harm to yourself or others. A key part of emotional control is self-compassion. When emotions arise, especially challenging ones, it's easy to become frustrated or critical of yourself for feeling the way you do. However, practicing self-compassion allows you to be gentle with yourself during difficult emotional moments, recognizing that it's okay to feel emotions, whether positive or negative, without judgment, helps to reduce the pressure of perfectionism. When you accept your emotions rather than resist them, they lose much of their power over you. Instead of beating yourself up for feeling anxious or sad, for example, you can acknowledge the emotion, allow it to pass, and use it as an opportunity for growth. Control also means learning to shift emotional states. If you're feeling overwhelmed or stuck in a negative emotional pattern, you can consciously work to shift your emotional state to something more positive. This doesn't mean forcing happiness when you feel sad, but rather gently guiding yourself toward a state of mind that is more empowering. Simple actions like going for a walk, listening to uplifting music, or practicing gratitude can shift your focus and help elevate your mood. Sometimes, just changing your environment or engaging in a different activity can create the space for your emotions to shift naturally. In difficult or challenging situations, it's also important to keep perspective. Sometimes emotions can feel overwhelming because we're focused on the immediate situation without seeing the bigger picture. In these moments, asking yourself questions like, what's really at stake here? Or how important is this situation in the grand scheme of things can help you regain control of your emotions. By reminding yourself that many of life's challenges are temporary and manageable, you can reduce the emotional charge they carry and respond with greater calm and clarity. Controlling emotions is not about denying or avoiding them. It's about developing the skills to manage and express them in a way that is healthy and productive. It's about understanding that emotions are part of being human and that they don't have to control our actions or decisions. By cultivating self-awareness, practicing emotional regulation techniques, developing emotional intelligence, and embracing self-compassion, we can take charge of our emotional lives, creating more balance, peace, and empowerment. In doing so, we transform not only our internal experience, but also the way we interact with the world, leading to healthier relationships and a more fulfilling life. The discipline of the mind is one of the most critical aspects of personal growth and achievement. It is the ability to control your thoughts, focus your energy, and make decisions based on your values and goals, rather than being swayed by fleeting emotions, distractions, or external influences. Just as physical discipline requires regular practice and commitment to build strength and endurance, mental discipline demands consistency and self-control to cultivate clarity, purpose, and resilience in the face of life's challenges. Without mental discipline, we can become easily overwhelmed by negative thinking, procrastination, or reactive behavior that prevents us from realizing our full potential. A disciplined mind is one that has learned to stay focused on what truly matters. In a world full of distractions, whether it's the constant pull of technology, social media, or the many responsibilities we juggle, it can be challenging to maintain focus on our goals. But the disciplined mind understands the importance of prioritizing and consistently channeling attention toward tasks that align with personal values and long-term aspirations. This ability to remain focused is what allows us to make steady progress toward our objectives, regardless of the noise and interruptions around us. Developing discipline of the mind begins with self-awareness. Without a clear understanding of your thoughts, beliefs, and mental patterns, it is easy to get caught up in distractions, negative thinking, or unproductive habits. Self-awareness allows you to observe your mental processes and recognize when your mind is veering off course. Are you thinking constructively, or are you indulging in self-doubt or negative assumptions? Are you thinking strategically, or are you caught in emotional reactions? By becoming more conscious of your mental state, you gain the ability to redirect your thoughts toward the things that matter most, helping you stay aligned with your goals. Another key element of mental discipline is self-control. The mind, if left unchecked, can easily drift toward unproductive thoughts, emotional reactions, and impulsive decisions. Self-control is the ability to steer your mind away from distractions, temptations. For instance, when you're working toward a long-term goal, you may feel tempted to procrastinate or take the easier path. But a disciplined mind recognizes the value of delayed gratification and the importance of staying on track. Self-retreat also involves making conscious decisions in the moment.